Hello. Trying to do this live stream, and this time we're gonna try to do it right. We're gonna do it right, folks. Going to invite Alec. Whoops. Whoa, one sec. Alec, can you hear me, buddy? It says that you're watching, but it's not letting me add you for some reason. God damn. This stupid phone, I have too fat of fingers. I think everybody does, because I have small hands. So, don't know what the deal is. Alec, try requesting to join. Jesus. We'll turn your camera on, and see, usually it pops up and it says like, this person's watching, bring them on camera, and I just click add, so I'm not sure what's going on. See, my brother Nathan's watching, and it says to add him, but it doesn't say it on you, Alec, so. Did you accept my invite? Because I thought the invite was to participate, not to watch, but I might be wrong. Well, this is riveting. Don't worry, people. It's gonna get better. Just gotta wait for it to happen. Keep your eyes open. Oh, I'm gonna have to turn on my fucking room light. That sucks. Alec. What you guys don't realize is that Alec and I have been trying to get a live stream going for like the last 30, 45 minutes. And it's just because we were trying to do it on YouTube, but I don't have my microphone and my laptop was acting up, and just every problem that could happen pretty much happened. So we're doing it on Facebook kind of as a last resort. So hopefully we will figure this out. This is really weird. Alec, I don't know what's up. Like, try refreshing the page and then coming back. Okay, let's see if it says it. Dear God, what the fuck? Why is this such a pain in the ass? Should I not have invited you to watch? Is that the problem? Is there any... I have to wait till he's back. Alec, is there anything on your Facebook that allows you to... Tell you what, go on your phone. I know that, or your iPod. That's probably the thing. I have a feeling that most people who are looking at this are probably looking at it on their phone, and that's why it says ad, because I'm doing it from my phone, so you probably have to be on your phone. That's what I'm suspecting. So we will see how that goes. There we go. All right, Alec. I'm adding you. Let's see.
There we go.
Finally. Holy shit.
Jesus.
What an ordeal.
Yeah, pretty much. Now I've got to make this happen.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to like set this on the perfect place. I'm gonna have to tell you what, I gotta turn on this light. It's gonna just get darker in here.
It's gonna get dark.
I was so ready to do it on my computer because I have even the sound foam.
Yeah.
Trying to catch this damn sound, and son of a bitch. Okay, so future David, remember to cut all the way up into this point. All the way up, not me staring at the camera for who knows how long. So, anyways, I'll do this as if we are doing it on the YouTube channel directly, but for those of you who are watching it on YouTube or listening to it, welcome to The Walking David. I'm David Grayson. This is my best friend, Alec Brown, right over here.
Woo!
And what we're doing is we're doing a catch-up week. So we are just going to sort of, chat to each other as we usually do, but for your own benefit, and also it's just good for us. So even if you don't like it, fuck you. We wanted to do it anyway, so we did it all for the nookie.
For the nookie.
The nookie.
So, California.
Mm.
Garbage, right? Hot garbage.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that suck about California. Oklahoma, garbage or steaming hot garbage?
Oklahoma's windy garbage.
It's been windy?
It's always windy. It's never not windy.
Honestly, that's the craziest part about being out here is that everybody out here shits a brick when there's like a breeze. They're like, oh, I don't like this weather. My roommate even just like, oh, can't stand this weather. It's 72 degrees. Not a breath of wind. I can't stand this. It's like, it's not hot enough. I'm like, you have not, wow. I wish I had that problem. That would be amazing.
It's not quite perfect.
It's not perfect enough. San Diego's 75 right now. What the fuck are we doing?
We should just kill ourselves.
Well, that's what I've been saying. And nobody talks about it. Thank you.
Right?
Right? That's what I've been saying this whole time, guys.
Nobody talks about it.
Well, you trimmed your beard, eh?
Yeah.
Which part did you trim? Did you trim this part? Did you, cut the line?
Yeah, I cut the line and then tried to make it look even.
It looks good. It looks very full. It looks well kept. As opposed to who knows what it was before this stream, but
It was the usual wild man look.
and I actually did the same. I saw just a glimpse of some dude who was unshaven or like unkempt on Judge Judy, and I was like, that reminds me, I need to trim my beard. And then I just went with like a pair of scissors. It was just.
You're just like, I got to do this before I appear before Judy.
Oh yeah.
And then she makes me look a fool.
Stubble is not an answer.
You ain't got all the answers, Sway.
You ain't got all the answers, Sway. You don't even know. You don't even have your own clothing line yet.
So I noticed, and this will continue, so like the YouTube people may not see this, but every time I take a drink out of this mug here,
Yeah.
it's going to get the flash of like the HBO branding at the bottom.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, they should be paying us.
I mean, I think so. I mean, for those of you who don't know, Alec is a big mover and shaker in the entertainment industry, and so whatever he drinks out of, all of my subscribers will drink out of.
I'm like that Kardashian bitch in the Pepsi commercial.
Yeah, check out our
The
PayPals.
revolution's coming.
I need like an AMC cup for me.
The revolution. Don't you understand, people? If we all drink Pepsi, violence ends. Pepsi, the fresh maker.
That's Mentos.
Well, you know what? I mean, how the logos are all those like slogans, they're all the same.
Pepsi, ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm drinking it.
Exactly. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, no more police violence. Now people are going to be like, God, they're talking about such an old meme about a commercial.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, 9/11 was an inside job.
Jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
I'm loving it.
Jet fuel may not be able to melt steel beams, but this habanero McRib can. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, inside job.
So, in other worldly news,
the Oscars happened. And
that's true.
Fish fucking won Best Picture, validating my lifestyle.
I was really happy about that because I didn't actually get a chance to watch it because my TV isn't here yet, and so.
What a loser!
Yep.
I didn't watch it because I was doing other things.
Like what?
I was drawing.
Yeah. What have you been drawing?
Oh, all sorts of stuff for like. So, long story short, I'm in a process of trying to get some of my work out there so I can make money.
Which I have been a staunch supporter of.
Yeah. So I've been kind of just like jumping on like random art contest kind of stuff I find on the internet.
That's good. And I think eventually what would be good is like once you feel really comfortable with your artwork is offering your services to comic books or stuff like that. Not these people that are like, I want porn, but
all the porn, and I'll be like, you're only getting porn that I jerk off to.
Yeah, only
not about what you like, it's what I like.
Yeah, it's not about the buyer, it's about the creator. That's what it is.
Well, it's kind of like arranged marriages in medieval times. It's like you will learn to love him.
Yeah.
So it's like you just get a picture.
Medieval times. I think that currently happens in India.
That currently happens everywhere.
Your mother and I, we did not like each other at first, but we learned to love each other because the price for apostasy is death.
And that'll be what it's like for people who are commissioning pictures from me. It's like, you will learn to love the picture.
By the way, for those of you on my YouTube channel who don't know, Alec has actually done all the digital artwork that you see on some of my videos. In my earlier videos, he did like a picture of me kind of as Rick Grimes that was sort of like, I would say, inverted colors or done kind of Walking Dead style where it's black and white It's like Walking Dead or Sin City style, and it's black and white with red, where there's blood in it.
I
And
don't even remember that one.
it's like you made like one of my eyes look kind of zombified or something, and it's at the very beginning. It's like the second video I had, and then
Well, I don't watch things. I experience things.
well, it's also been a couple of years, so I don't expect you to be like, oh yeah, I totally remember that. And it was, you did it pretty quickly because it was a week where you were like really churning shit out, and you were drawing a bunch of shit.
When I was a
And
young man.
when I was a young man, on
But now I'm
Golden
old
Street,
and broken.
it's true. He's like Wolverine with the adamantium claws.
They
The
don't
thing
come
that
out all the
brought me
way.
here is killing me.
Those Wolverine claws don't come out all the way.
That wasn't him pulling out a claw. That was him starting a lawnmower. But but Alec, he's done the digital art for this channel. So like the cover photo that I have of me kind of doing this, like, and like doing kind of a raised eyebrow look, with like Littlefinger, Jesse Ventura, Batman, Rick Grimes, all these little pictures behind me of kind of in a semi Game of Thrones like faceless man style, where there's just like faces all over these the back of a mantelpiece behind me, and he drew that, and I love it. I think it's great. And not to mention, I recently got, and I told Alec about this when we were off the stream, that I just got his Christmas gift to me framed, which is a picture of, wasn't it? It was the Justice League Flashpoint universe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you had Reverse Flash on there. You had, did you have a Black Lantern?
No, I had Reverse Flash. I had Batman.
Okay, that was Batman.
Yeah, Thomas Wayne Batman. I had Wonder Woman and Aquaman fighting, and then Superman, the really like emaciated Superman.
That's right. Okay, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, which is because like the both gray. It's like gray, so
mm-hmm.
I can see you making that.
Well, I'm also trying to remember it in my head, but it's like it's really well done. It looks great. It looks like something you would actually like go to a store and buy, and we know that for a fact because when we actually took it to Walmart to get it printed out, Alec, please tell people about this bullshit story that it went down, and I'll fill in any gaps.
So Walmart prints posters for fairly cheap, cheaper than anyone else. So I'd already done this like at least like 3 or 4 times before at this particular Walmart. Mm-hmm. And so essentially we get there I call first, and the guy at the counter goes, I'm not printing it. It's got copyrighted materials. Now, for those who are not aware, when you draw something, it falls under the rules of parody. I mean, you can disagree with that logic, but as it stands, it does.
Yeah, so, unless if you are the artist who drew the comic book drawing it again.
Or you're trying to sell it, which I'm not even selling it. I'm in fact buying it myself.
And then giving it to me. I went with Alec this time to Walmart. So I'm literally the person, he's going to just get it from them and hand it 2 feet to his right, and there I am. So
yeah. So essentially, I tell the guy, it's all right. I've done this before with other stuff that's like branded. And I said, it's fine. It's not a big deal. I've done this before. I know all the rules. I'll sign the release paper that, removes anything from Walmart. So we get there, and the guy says, I'm still not doing it. And he's a huge dick about it. Mm-hmm. And so then eventually we have to get the manager, and the manager is like, oh, well, I don't really know. He says he can't do it. And I'm like, about to scream and punch this guy because it's like, just print the stupid thing. It's a poster. It's a poster. It's a poster of Batman, which is also funny too, because it's like, let's assume that I was like printing a poster of Batman that I didn't make. Let's just assume that thing. The poster cost $25. Less than 20 feet away is the Walmart poster section with posters of Batman for $5. So it's like there's no crime here. This is the worst crime. This is the worst copyright fraud ever. If like
Yeah, you suck at it.
yeah, it's like if I'm trying to turn a profit here, I'm doing an absolute shit job. And so then the lady goes, "Look, I'll make a deal with you. You know, you guys change the font because it looks too much like Justice League. You know, and then print it off again and come back and we'll do it." And at this point, I'm just like, fine, I will go change the font. So
I was furious for you, by the way, because I was telling Alec the whole way home to his place. I'm like, there have been so many issues and variants of every comic book and every storyline of all these characters that surely they have used every font from Times New Roman to completely fictitious, like invented fonts. You know what I mean?
yes.
So there's no reason to change the font.
And this is the best part. So she agrees on the font because when she's going down the character she sees on screen, because she had just told me before she looked at the screen, oh, my husband draws pictures like this, so I know what's what. And then she looks at the screen and then proceeds to go, oh, well, that's not what Superman looks like, so it's fine. And I don't correct her, even though in my head I'm correcting her because I'm a
Well, she
giant
also
dork.
said, well, clearly, you know, it's different because your Flash is yellow and the Flash is supposed to be red.
It's like, oh, I'm so glad you don't know anything of what you're talking about.
Yeah, she's completely bullshitting, like lying straight through her teeth.
So we drive back to the apartment. I jump on the computer, and literally I retype the font out with a font that comes standard on Mac. That is the exact same as the font that was used for Justice League Flashpoint Paradox. It's the same thing. It's just the same font, and then you select around it in the art program, and you just go like, and then there we go, it's done. And then I send it back to them, and then they print it, and it's like, I didn't even change anything. Like, it's the same, and you just don't remember, but who cares? Because we agreed to it. And so,
well, and I feel like you're leaving out a little bit of her bitchiness because she was going like. By the way, Alec, you might want to pop in your headphones so that we don't get reverb. I can hear on the lag.
You shut your face.
You shut your whore mouth. But this woman was saying to Alec, and I was touched that Alec was taking the time because for Christmas he had drawn all these pictures for all of his family, and outside of his family, I was the only person getting one of these pictures. Like, so it was like I was part of the family. It was a very sweet gift, and I was really looking forward to it because he had been working on it for like weeks. And I hadn't seen it. I didn't even look at it when we went back to his house and he was typing the font. I stayed in the other room, specifically so I wouldn't see it. And she said to him, she goes, you know, take this opportunity to be creative, to really explore fonts and like I was blown away. Just take creative. Explore fonts. Go invent a new font.
Learn fonts. Class, today we're going to talk about fonts.
Now I'm free to see the world. But it's...
You've unlocked a new artistic medium. My muse.
Yeah, like if that's like in your life where like the Xbox logo pops up and it's like achievement unlocked.
My new muse. Fonts. Yes, Muse, send me away one more time so I can invent the next font.
If you can look at me and show no love.
And then I can make
the island of Cordoba.
And then they'll call my biopic The Danish Girl 2.
Perfect title right there.
Exactly. Just snip it off.
With what font?
So
Times New Roman.
Well, the best part is the sequel to this. So I have one more picture to do the next day, and you've rode with me to this one too. So I sent it to a Walmart, like, on the other side of town, like maybe 3 minutes away. And I sent it to that one, way more copyright. It's almost like direct at that point, because it's like a poster for the movie Alien.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's the one for your dad.
Yeah, dude there gives it to me. I signed the paper. He doesn't even speak. And then we leave, and there's no problem. And it's like, wow.
Yeah, it was like this Walmart for some. God, I wanted to punch that dude who refused to give it to you because we forgot to mention, we went and got a manager because when Alec first called saying, I'm here to come pick it up, the guy is looking at it and he goes, I can't give you this over the phone, and then hangs up on Alec.
Oh, yeah, that was true. Yeah, the first time he just said no and hung up on me.
Like in mid-thought, you go, no, I'm allowed to do this. I've done this before. And he just goes, fuck off, and like hung up. And then you turn to me and you just go, you want to go to Walmart? I was like, okay. And,
like, you ready to fight the battle?
Yeah, once more onto the breach. So when we got there, this rat-faced piece of shit, we had to go and get a manager, and she comes over, and she even tells us, like, oh, that shouldn't be a problem. Let's just go print it off. And then she comes back, and somehow, amongst the Walmart employees, this guy is the most persuasive.
Oh, no.
He's like the Jordan Peterson of
David.
Walmart employees because he was able to... What? What'd you say, Alec?
Oh, we lost you for a second, but you're back.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. But this guy was like the Jordan Peterson of Walmart employees because he was able to sway this woman into not giving it to us, and they both didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. Yeah. And it was just amazing. It was kind of like they thought, Alec and I both hate this, but really condescending, stupid people like that think they're extremely smart, but they're very dumb. But they are both so dumb, they're able to convince each other that the other one's right.
Yeah. And the best part, and I refused to believe this is a coincidence, because when we went back after we changed the font, he wasn't there anymore. And I just choose to believe that was because he knew we were coming back, and he was like, fuck these guys, I don't want to print it, so I'm going to go on break.
Yeah, I'm going to take my 15.
No, I believe that. I think it's like, he just made the other guy do it because he didn't want to talk to us.
Yeah, that was such a shit show.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, the picture's great, and it's framed, and so when my parents come out to visit me out here in California in a week and a half or whenever they do, they're going to bring the picture, and I'm going to hang it up on my wall. So the next time I do one of these Facebook Lives or a YouTube stream, you'll probably see the poster.
Is Mama and Papa Grayson going to do a road trip?
Well, they're doing some kind of my dad is like a doctor's meeting in Arizona, and they're visiting some of their friends, and then after that, they're just driving the additional distance, and they're just going to make a little vacation out of it. So they'll stay for like a weekend and then leave.
On the way.
On the way. Boom. I know exactly what you're saying.
I would like to hold my life. Dude, you know it.
Is that from Matilda?
I don't even know.
That's from Matilda.
The first time I ever heard it was in the Ice Age movie.
It's on the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 100% no drama. Don't. The dog almost knocked over the phone.
Good. Lay down. Drama. Knock over the phone. Do it.
Lay down, buddy.
Do it.
Thank you. All the way.
Knock over the phone.
Do it. He's looking at me like, fuck you.
He's coming up for that. He's coming for you.
I'm going to turn on this fan for a second. One second.
You can't keep a good dog down.
If I aim this at you, drama, will you die?
Mm-hmm. It would be extremely painful.
For your dog.
For you.
All right.
You're a big dog.
Anyways, so we were going to talk about a few things for this live stream, like actual things. None of that stuff that we just talked about was really planned. But so, like, Alec, you went to the movies this week, and you went and saw Annihilation,
I did.
starring Natalie Portman and that guy who's in Doctor Strange.
You mean Apocalypse? Apocalypse, his most notable role as
No.
Apocalypse, the villain in the classic X-Men series. X-Men Age of Apocalypse. The hit
Dawn of the Planet of the X-Men.
the hit summer flick from 2017, X-Men Apocalypse. It's the only movie I know him from.
No, I'm not even referring to Oscar Isaac. I'm referring to the guy from Doctor Strange who played.
Oh, the Asian guy. Oh,
Yeah.
he's fat and unimportant. I mean that in the movie. That's like he's unimportant.
He has more
It doesn't
screen
do-
time in the trailer.
Yeah, I know. No. The stuff you see in the trailer, that's it.
Riveting
In the
stuff.
movie. Okay, so this is a big thing with this movie. So this guy, the Asian guy, and Natalie Portman are in that room, and all that is for at points in the movie it jumps abruptly, just leaps to that set of her sitting in the chair and him talking to her to essentially reiterate something you just saw.
Yeah, well, they're trying to do that thing where it's like, oh, you know that the main character made it out, but how did they get to this point? And
No, it's not even that. Like it literally is like it feels like a studio saying, we think it's just too confusing. Can we just add a scene where a character explains basic plot points?
yeah, an interrogation scene, those are kind of essential to movies where the plot is they're worried about losing people, so they have an interrogation scene so someone can literally look at a file and go, oh, act 1 of the movie. And then they just go, oh yeah, act 2 of the movie. And then the guy's like, act 3 of the movie.
To quote Plinkett, it's like, is that the script right there?
Yeah. Did you read the script? Is that the script right there?
It's like the Asian guy, he's just like, and you say your flip,
Natalie
husband,
Portman.
Your husband, parentheses, Oscar Isaac. So,
if I can interrupt you for a sec, I heard through like Red Letter Media and also just only one other review. I tried staying away from it, but they seem to enjoy it mostly because of the weird visuals. Like there was a lot of creepy visuals, they said.
Okay, so I hated everything about this movie. So I guess I should start with that. I hated everything. Mm-hmm. And Red Letter Media, they like it because it's not a summer blockbuster sci-fi film. It's not the new Star Treks. That's why they like it. But as far as science fiction goes, it sucks. And as far as visuals go, they're great ideas. But
executed poorly?
Well, it's more... Okay, so I guess I should start. So... without going into the plot. So here's the big thing before I go into the plot that you have to remember. So 2 points. 1, the movie only explains things that you didn't need to have it explain. By the way, okay, I'm just going to throw up the spoiler banner now. Spoilers, David.
Spoilers, everybody, for the movie Annihilation, starring Natalie Portman, Oscar Isaac, and the Asian guy.
In the video you're going to make later, just have spoilers flipping all over the screens right now.
A bunch of arrows pointing at Alec.
Yeah, just spoilers everywhere.
Spoiler.
Like, I want spoilers to be tumbling around the corners like a screensaver. So, the problem is, when they go, the key way to describe this, like this idea of how it doesn't explain things to you, is a character says to Natalie Portman, everything inside the bubble's like a prism. Everything reflects like radio waves, light, and DNA.
Mm-hmm.
So the movie, so David, you have a college education in biology.
Yeah.
And I have a college education of biology, just Bio 1. Does DNA refract? Can you tell me DNA? Does it refract from person to person?
All they taught me in biology is that DNA annihilates.
Fuck off. They reference cancer. They reference cancer like 8 times.
Yeah, I know that's supposed to be like a thread.
It's a thread, and it's dumb. It's so dumb, and it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't do anything. Because when I get to the end of this, you're going to be like, how is that cancer? So the problem is like, literally someone says, inside the bubble, DNA is being refracted. That's why everything looks so weird. And they say this early on. So the rest of the time when you're seeing these like visuals, like their explanation is just DNA is refracted. They're not going to tell you how it's refracted or why it's refracted or why only certain things are refracted.
That's not important.
According to the movie, it's not, and it drove me insane. Kyle didn't mind it as much because he had low expectations, but for me, it was just like I lost it right there. I was like, no, you can't just gloss past that. You can't go past that. You can't just say DNA is refracted. DNA doesn't refract. You don't stand like if you and me are standing next to each other, your beard doesn't start turning red because you're in close proximity to me.
Well, Alec,
it doesn't work like that.
Based on the knowledge I've learned from movies so far, I've learned that DNA refracts, and also that love transcends time and space.
Yeah, well, you know what? DNA refracts now, so...
And Anne Hathaway's on a planet without food.
Yeah. So, it just, like, that literally, they just throw that out there and then they move on. And it's never explained. They explain to you things that you can just see. You can just see them. You don't need those explained to you. You need them to explain why DNA is refracted and how it's able to change the DNA of our characters at random intervals somehow. Because, okay, so another one is, you see this in the trailer. There's like trees that are shaped like people. And they say, oh, the trees, they have the DNA, you know, their DNA is telling them to be structured like people, you know? So they look like people, and that's as far as it goes. But then in that same scene, the really young black girl in it,
mm-hmm.
She starts growing like plant stuff out of her arms, and then she wanders off and died off screen somewhere and became a tree person, I guess. But it's like, how did she get plant DNA that grows in like 30 minutes?
Because movie.
How? Exactly. But it's like, but they have to stop and tell you that the plants got human DNA to look like humans. They don't tell you the important thing of why this character died. They don't explain that to you. They explain to you, like, basic visual things.
Alec, the movie Alien and Aliens. It's not about Ridley. It's not about aliens. It's about the ship.
It's about the ship.
It's like, and if you think anything else, you're wrong. Because the real terror is that ship at night. Are you doing some research? What are you doing?
I'm pulling up the IMDb so I can say people's names right.
There you go.
Because I wouldn't want to be rude.
I don't want to be rude.
So as far as it goes, all the acting is terrible except for Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Now, what does
what does she do in the movie? She's like okay, so we'll start on the plot. So Oscar Isaac was a military guy. He went on a mission that Natalie Portman didn't know about, and he was gone for a year. So then suddenly, a year later, he shows up. And she's like, what happened to you? Where'd you go? What you doing? And Oscar Isaac is like, I don't remember nothing. He's like a soap opera character. He's got amnesia. So then he starts vomiting blood, and the ambulance picks him up. And then when the ambulance is on the road, the military comes and takes her and Oscar Isaac away. They steal the ambulance. So then she wakes up in a facility, and Jennifer Jason Leigh is like, hey, I'm the director. I'm a psychologist at this place. Apparently I run it. That's never really established. But apparently she runs this place, and they're observing because an asteroid hit this lighthouse in what I guess is like the East Coast, maybe Florida. I'm not quite sure. But it's like, oh, it hit this lighthouse, and then this weird bubble started radiating outward. And so then she's like, she just tells like exposits to Natalie Portman, like, this bubble's weird and we keep sending guys in there and no one's ever made it out except for your husband, and he just appeared at your house and we didn't even know he was there. And so
He was busy being a tree. No,
he was busy being a tree. And so she says, this time, instead of sending military dudes in, I'm sending scientists. And I'm sending an all-women science team headed by me. And Natalie Portman's like, well, I need to go with you because then I can figure out how to save him from puking up blood. Because I'll figure out what happened in there. So then they go in, and so all the other characters are awful, and they suck. And Natalie Portman's dead-faced and doesn't really react to anything. So Jennifer Jason Leigh's the only one who's interesting, and that's just because, like, her character is, like, all fucked up, So she just kind of plays into it, so she doesn't talk a whole bunch, and she's mostly just corralling everyone.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they're wondering, because the whole point is they're going to the lighthouse to see what crashed there. So, the first thing they find is they get attacked by a gator that's got shark teeth.
But, Alec, that's impossible because species, they can't do that. You can't crossbreed species.
Well, they just did.
Get the fuck out of
here.
What?
So, one, that's actually a huge shame because that was a perfect opportunity to have a practical effect because the crocodile, it's in the water. You could just do a Jaws thing and have its head thrashing around while it's grabbed someone. But they don't. And it's a shame. So, la-di-da-di-da, they get on a boat and they start canoeing up river to the lighthouse. And so then they wind up at this little like army post, and then one of the characters dies. A monster drags her off into the woods. So then they keep going, la-di-da-di-da. They see a video of Oscar Isaac and the guys going crazy in there. That's where you see, like they show one shot of, like, they cut a guy's stomach open, and his guts are slithering like a snake.
Yeah, I saw that as, like, a brief clip, I think, in the Red Letter Media review, where they showed that, and, I mean, that looked like it could have been interesting, but I wasn't sure.
But see, that's the thing. That's interesting. Never touched on, explained, or brought up ever again.
And, well, it seems like, I mean, if I may, it seems like that's what the whole movie kind of does. Like you said, they explain things that you don't need to explain and don't explain the things that are important. So It's like, yeah, why is this happening, or what do you think at least is happening? And
Well,
basically, Natalie Portman. Okay, go ahead.
we're gonna get to that because it gets less, like, you find out more and it amounts to nothing. So, by the way, the whole time characters, they're asking like, what is this on the walls? And I'm like, it's a fungus. It's mold. You never seen mold before? I know it's like pink and purple and stuff, but it's
You guys
still
are
mold.
scientists.
Exactly. It's like, you guys are supposed to be scientists. You cannot look me in the eyes and say you can't tell what mold is. I'm sitting in my chair, drinking a soda, and I know that's mold. I've seen that in buildings.
That's in my house.
Yeah, it's like that's in my apartment complex. I've seen it. I know what it is.
Like that old neighbor dude. Hey, you got a lot of black mold in there.
Exactly. It's
Got
like,
a lot of black mold. I wouldn't live in there if I was you.
I wouldn't live in there.
I wouldn't live in there.
So they keep going, and so then one character, I can't remember her name.
Sorry, you did a Seagal.
Oh, the actress is Gina Rodriguez. So they show up. They wind up at this like small little town, and they're like hiding out in a house. And so Gina like ties them all to chairs, and she's like, "The men all went crazy in here, and they killed each other," because that's what she thinks is like they all killed each other. And she's like, "They all killed each other, and now I'm not sure what's real anymore. So I'm gonna find out who's crazy, because I just figured out halfway through the movie that Natalie Portman's married to Oscar Isaac." Which was like, why would you not tell them immediately? That's very silly.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb.
But but then suddenly the bear monster attacks, which is like a bear with a melted face. But you know what it does? And see, once again, this is something with the whole, DNA's refracted. This is why this doesn't hold water. So the bear's thing, and this is a great idea for a monster. When the bear roars, it essentially screams like the person. So it's screaming like the girl that it ate earlier in the movie,
Interesting. That's pretty freaky. That sounds like a creepy visual, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It's like it's screaming like a person, because
now, when you saw that, were you genuinely like, oh, that's like, were you enjoying that when you were seeing it? Like, out of context, you could enjoy that?
Like, if the movie had not been so awful up until this point, I actually would have liked it. But at this point, it's like we're so far in the movie, I'm just kind of like coldly indifferent to it. And I'm like, well, it's a neat idea. Too bad, this movie hasn't earned any of this.
Yeah. It's
the reason, because the whole point of the tension is that the girl, Gina Rodriguez, tied them to chairs. So the bear attacked, like the bear yelled like the girl, like yelling help. And so Gina Rodriguez ran outside and got by the bear. And so then the bear walks in the house and they're all tied up. But it's like, the reason they're tied up is really, it was stupid, because she tied them up at night with no guard. It's like a monster grabbed your friend yesterday. Like, why would you do this now?
Yeah,
you can't secure the, it's like, I wouldn't bother.
Yeah, I wouldn't tie anybody up who you might need to help you escape.
Or at least tie Natalie Portman up and be like, Natalie Portman's the crazy one, not everybody else. But la-di-da, Gina Rodriguez dies and they kill the bear. And then the other girl that I talked about, like literally the next scene, the other girl turns into a tree person off screen somewhere, and she dies because the plot needs her to die. And then Jennifer Jason Leigh the night before, said I'm going to the lighthouse without you guys. Screw you guys. You suck. I'm going by myself.
Mm-hmm.
So then Natalie Portman makes it to the lighthouse.
Yay!
Where the meteor crashed that started all this. So she gets to the lighthouse, and then there's a camera, there's a body that's been burned up, and then there's a camera. And so she turns on the camera and she watches it, and she sees Oscar Isaac. He's like talking about how he's gone crazy and he doesn't remember anything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he says all he remembers is Natalie Portman's character's name. And he's like, oh, protect Natalie Portman. And then you hear a voice behind the camera that is also Oscar Isaac say, okay. And so Oscar Isaac, in the military uniform, sets himself on fire. And he's that burnt body in the corner. And then an Oscar Isaac this is also something. So another Oscar Isaac, the Oscar Isaac we saw at the beginning of the movie that's got slicked back hair because he's cool, he walks into frame. And he's literally wearing like an overcoat and stuff. And I'm like, where? Because this is going to get crazy later. Because it's like, where did you get the overcoat? Where'd you get the overcoat? But so now we found out. Oh no, the Oscar Isaac at the beginning of the movie isn't Oscar Isaac.
It's actually a plant.
It's actually Bane. So, Natalie Portman, she climbs, and the lighthouse in the corner, there's like a hole where the meteor burrowed into the ground. So she climbs in the meteor hole, and so then she sees Jennifer Jason Leigh, kind of like sitting there being weird. And Jennifer Jason Leigh's like, oh, whatever it is, it's an alien. That's pretty much all she really says. It's like, it's an alien and it's doing something. And then she disintegrates. And so Natalie Portman
just like vaporizes or something, or just
more like she shrivels up and explodes into a bunch of light particle effects. So then those light particle effects all coalesce into this kind of blob that looks like a kaleidoscope.
Okay.
Because it's kind of like, it's like the center of the blob is like light, like a light, and then it's like, it's radiating, if you got the light here, it's radiating it outward and around,
Yeah, interesting.
It's just like a blob. It's like, think like, you ever seen like oil over water?
Yeah.
Think that just kind of like wrapped around it, kind of flowing back, like flowing from the light center around the back.
So it's just this weird glowing amorphous kind of blob.
Well, it's not amorphous. I say it's like a kaleidoscope because it's like super symmetrical.
Oh, okay, so it's not amorphous. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a blob. So it's like a symmetrical blob, just kind of like whooshing. And so Natalie Portman like gets real close to it, and she's like, oh. And then the blob disappears, and it's like, because the blob's scary, and she runs away from the blob room, and she runs out, and then, oh no, what's outside the hole in the lighthouse? It's a blob thing that looks like a person. The blob, it's that same texture of like the kind of gasoline, gas on water text, like coloration. But it's now the blob is like shaped like a person. There's no like features. It looks like a, you ever seen where I do like the person with no face or anything before I start drawing? It's like that, but so it's like, or like one of those pose dolls, like the wooden pose dolls you get at the craft store.
So like a blob. Oh man, I had the perfect fucking example of it, but just like a human rendering of.
Yeah.
Blob.
Exactly.
It sounds. I did not explain that any better than you did. So go ahead.
So the blob is like mimicking her, and it's like matching all her movements and stuff. And it's like, oh, this is so trippy. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? What are you trying to say to me about the blob thing? So then, long story short, she figures out the blob thing's like copying her, so then she like walks over to the bag where dead Oscar Isaac's body is, and she pulls out another phosphorus grenade, which is like a flare grenade.
Yeah.
Spits spits sexy white hot fire.
Yeah. White fire.
So then she tricks the alien blob into mimicking her, so then it opens the grenade on itself like Oscar Isaac did. And thus the alien burns. So here's a problem with the alien and all the alien stuff catching fire like that. Because literally, like, the alien catches fire, it's got like fire on it and it doesn't know what to do. So then it crawls back in the hole where it landed. And the hole is like the hole looks like, you remember like Prometheus?
Mm-hmm.
When they walk inside the ship and all the walls are like black,
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what it looks like inside there. But apparently this is all part of like this little room is part of the Alien too. Because I thought it was like, the walls had been like melted because of the heat from the crash. But no, it's part of the Alien because all of it catches fire instantly. And so the alien catches the hole on fire, runs back out of the hole to die in the lighthouse because the movie demanded it. And so, but then when Natalie Portman's walking away from the lighthouse, like everything the alien was connected to is burning down.
Mm-hmm.
So here's why this is a problem. The whole ticking clock of the plot was we have to figure out what's at the lighthouse because this bubble is expanding, and everyone who's been inside the bubble dies. The problem with that is if fire destroys this, why even get to the Natalie Portman point? You could napalm the area and be done with it. Because the alien's not resistant to fire, it has no protection. You could napalm the area and kill the whole thing, and just you're done. Free,
but also
done.
It would make you think that if the whole place is made up of this alien component, then when it blows itself up, the whole thing, including Natalie Portman, would just explode, like all at once. Like an implosion, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, because it just catches on fire like normal forest, where it's just like everything's touching everything, so the fire spreads. It's like, then why would they waste so much time to the point where they're getting Natalie Portman and a bunch of random science women who have no training?
Because there's a lady bear in there, and
Oh, why wouldn't you burn it instantly? Why wouldn't you just, you could napalm it, you could send in 6 guys with flamethrowers to just keep going.
Do 8-hour shifts of just burning.
Yeah, no, that's my point. It's like, why? You would never get to this point. Like, you would never get to the point where it's actually like a threat.
Unless if they explain. That's the thing, is that just like a Godzilla movie, like the recent one, that was the one good thing that they did. In the opening part of the Godzilla movie, they show like these old World War II pictures of like atom bombs going off, and they go like when they dropped the bombs, they weren't trying to test bombs, they were trying to kill it. You know what I mean? Like, and they kind of established that they've tried the strongest stuff they got. You know what I mean?
But
so they go, this is something we have no control over.
But that's my point. It's like at no point in the movie, even Asian man interviewing her, they never established that fire wouldn't work, so you have to assume that they could have burned this at any time and just didn't, because...
And why is he wearing a hazmat suit? Does that even matter? Do they think that she's infected?
Well, see, and that's my thought, too. It's like, if she walked out of there, because immediately, as soon as she's walking away from the lighthouse and Cool Guys Don't Look at Explosions happens, it cuts to her in the room. But this is the problem. It's like she had to make it all the way from the lighthouse to there, and that's like a 3-day walk. So did the forest all burn down? Did none of it? Was it just the lighthouse that burned down? Did she walk back through? Because the whole thing too is like, as they're going deeper and closer to the thing, it's more dangerous and they're losing memories and they're going crazy. So it's like she's walking back through all this shit. Like, they just leave that. She's just back. And it's like, no. You have to tell me what happened to the bubble. You have to tell me, did all of it burn down?
Did it feel like they were trying to set up for a sequel, or did it feel like they
No.
wrapped it up?
No, they wrapped, because I'm going to get to the ending. Because even then, like, it should have ended with her walking away from the lighthouse and just been a straight mystery.
Yeah.
But they don't. So they cut back to the interview. And so the Asian guy's like asking her questions like, what was it, carbon based? Was it, this, was it that? And she's just saying, I don't know. And so then he goes, it's dramatic, so like everything pauses, and he goes, what did it want? And the camera dramatic zooms in on Natalie Portman. She goes, I don't know. This face, just deadpan. I don't know. And you'd think the movie ended there, but no, it still keeps going. So then she goes over, and she's like, I gotta see my husband. And he's like, well, miraculously, the second you burned everything down, he instantly became all right.
Miraculously.
Exactly. Which really brings the question, because he was made by the alien. He's a clone of Oscar Isaac. Why did he, what is his deal?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and then also, but see, this is also too, because, like, she knows. He's a clone of Oscar Isaac. Why would she give a shit? My husband's dead. This is some weird alien thing. And also, why would the scientists in this facility not put two and two together? Like, oh, he stopped throwing up blood the second the forest burned down. Wow. Maybe we should test his blood.
Or,
to that. No.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mentioned test his blood because of the movie's clinch ending. So she goes in, and Oscar Isaac's sitting there in the little, like, isolation plastic tent,
Mm.
and she goes in the tent, and then she hugs him, and she's like, oh, you're all right. And then it close up on Oscar Isaac, and he's making this weird, like, angry face. He's like, and then his eyes start doing the glowy gasoline coloration effect that you see on the dome, where it's like, oh, purple and blue and bleh. And it's like,
The
his eyes are shimmering. And then it does the same on Natalie Portman, and her eyes are shimmering too. And it's like, first off, there's so many things wrong here. Number one, she can't be a clone like him because she burned the clone alive and we watched it. There was no cutaway. There was no cutaway. We saw the clone try to take her shape, and then she burned it alive in the same shot.
Mm-hmm.
It was not like she turned a corner and it was like, oh, the old switcheroo, Scoob.
Unless if, like, they showed, like, as she was leaving or something, on the ground behind her, you see another burning body, and it's left to imply that that was really her, and now this is a clone leaving.
Yeah,
that's saying, because that would make way more sense if she was a clone, because then the reason the clone is saying, I don't know, is because it doesn't want to give anything away.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen, so you have to assume it's her. So her eyes are all glowy like his. But see, this is the other thing, too, is it's like, why would they not check them? Like, why would this go unnoticed? But then the movie cuts, so I mean, I guess maybe someone would have caught on, but who cares? But so here's my big point, and this is why, like, so sometimes on movies I hate them when I see them, and then I think about them, and they get a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
The reason this one isn't getting better is because, so, I've read a fair amount of science fiction. I'm by no means like some diehard or a master, but there's one thing I've noticed that is important when you're doing science fiction, especially because this is the whole point of this was like, because this was the director of Ex Machina, and it's kind of like his, like, look, everybody, I'm going to do high concept science fiction,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna do the kind of science fiction that's like really, really thought provoking and like, ooh, really neato. So with high concept sci-fi, the important thing you have to do is you have to clearly by the end say to the audience, this is what I am saying.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just completely a waste of time. Because even like the great, Isaac Asimov is like one of the held up as one of the great high concept sci-fi guys. He's a terrible writer, but even as a terrible writer, he knows by the end of all his stories, he very clearly has established what he thinks it should mean. So, I mean, for him, it's always just a giant wank fest to how great science is compared to everything else, But it's like the movie never explains what it's trying to say to you. It never establishes what it's trying to say. Because, like, they reference cancer like 3 or 4 times, but they don't establish, like, what does that connect to the alien? Because you can't say that the alien is cancer, because that doesn't make sense. Cancer doesn't create new interesting life. Cancer replicates dead cells and kills you.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like you said, it's an interesting concept, and it would be interesting if, like, the scientists, like 2 or 3 of them had cancer, and that was the reason that they became part of the thing.
Well, Jennifer Jason Leigh has breast cancer, but that's revealed like almost towards the end, and it doesn't it doesn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But like then one character, the girl who dies first, her daughter died of cancer, but that doesn't connect in any way.
But I'm saying, like, it would be cool if, like, the guy whose stomach turned to organs or something like that, like, he had, like, stomach cancer or something like that, and that's why it did it.
Yeah.
So it would find cancer in your body. Because a scientist, I mean, I believe, I might be misquoting this, or pardon me if I paraphrase this wrong, but I believe that scientists say that technically we all have cancer in our body. It's just some people's bodies keep it under control, and other people's body, it duplicates and it grows, and that's the people who get various types of cancer, like,
essentially. I mean, that's the gist of it. Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of like, a flu shot for some people who have bad immune systems. You're giving them a little bit of the disease, and that's what's building up your immunity, is because your body's building more white blood cells to fight a small amount of the illness.
Yeah.
Like antibodies to fight
Yeah.
it. But anyways, that would have been an interesting tie, that it's like the only people who, come back have cancer, or had cancer when they went in and they were able to come out, but the people who are normal, who don't have cancer or aren't sick, are able to go through. It'd almost be like a World War Z thing. You know how Brad Pitt, like, he injects himself with, like, AIDS or HIV or something? No, he does, like, hepatitis, sorry.
Yeah.
He gives himself, like, a disease that if it goes untreated would make him die, and then the zombies ignore him. And that's his, like, cover to get out of there.
Yeah.
And then when he gets out, he has to be treated, because zombies don't attack, or in that movie, zombies don't attack people who are terminally ill.
Yeah. So essentially he gives himself, like, AIDS of the cancer of the hepatitis, and he lives.
Pretty much.
No, it's like the movie, it doesn't say anything about what it's talking about. And that's kind of the big issue, is it's like, what are you trying to tell me with this alien changing everything? Where it's like mutating everything. It's like, what are you trying to say to me? Like, are you trying to tell me that mutations are bad? Because, like, the bear mutated and its face was melting off, and the alligator was blind, and it's like, what are you saying to me?
Yeah, it's kind of going. That's sort of like the debate with the movies, like the movie Life that came out with Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Reynolds. That was a similar kind of topic, where at the very end it has this ending where you kind of go, now what are you saying? Are you saying that?
Yeah.
Are you implying that this monster takes over the planet? Are you implying that it's intelligent? or it's just
which
you
is
know.
ironic because that's a movie I hated too.
Yeah, I remember because we went and saw that, and you did not you did not like it. There, and I didn't
No.
really either. I think I liked the first half of it because it was more suspenseful, but then it became really like bad schlock.
Yeah.
Like where
Well,
it's just like, oh, you think this, and the editing towards the end was kind of really confusing. They kind of copped out in the editing room, like, oh yeah, that ship you thought you were following, you're actually following a different one.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, that's a stupid cop out.
It's a oh wait, what a twist.
Yeah, the twist is there is no twist.
We pulled the wool over your eyes. Wool over.
But so if you had to give it a, is that my internet that's cutting out?
I don't know. All right, you're good. If I had to give it a rating, what would I give it? I would give it. I'd give it like a. I don't know. I'd give it a low score, like a 1 or a 2, depending on your scale. You know, because it's one of those ones where it's like, it doesn't really do anything. It's like the visuals are. It's just in the sense of like, even if it wasn't me who just hated it. Like, the visuals are interesting to look at once.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then after that, like, they're not going to hold because it's kind of the whole problem of like when you're putting everything on visuals of a movie, you know, and you're trying to use that as a way to like sell your science fiction, but then the characters are all boring and
nothing sticks with you.
Yeah.
The concepts don't stick with you. It's just like a Star Wars movie might be good, but it's not going to stick with you because if the overall themes aren't good or the characters aren't interesting, it's just a spectacle movie.
Well,
and then once the spectacle's over, it's over.
I mean, just like you quoted Star Wars, but I mean that's exactly what happened in Rogue One.
Yeah, exactly. People loved it for the visuals.
Yeah, and then it was gone. And then it was gone, and now it's gone, and no one talks about it, no one really cares anymore.
Yeah, and by the way, hey, really fast, go ahead and see if you can leave the broadcast or come back, because you've been frozen for like the last minute or two, but I didn't want to interrupt you.
Okay.
So let me see. Are you able to like just refresh your camera? Maybe that would do it. Sorry, folks. Just a moment. Technical difficulties. I'm hearing some audio. I wonder what the deal is. One sec. I'm gonna try this one more time. There we go. There we are.
There we are.
All right. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm not sure what was going on. It's but yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I don't know if I should see it just for the visuals, or I might just wait until there's like clips of it on YouTube and I can just watch the clips.
Just wait for clips.
Yeah, because I don't even know if I would want to watch the whole movie.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not a lot there. That's kind of the problem. Is just, especially because like so I would say this, like, in the rest of the world it came out to Netflix, and honestly that is probably for the best, because I could see like if you're on Netflix and it doesn't cost you anything extra to watch it, then I'm sure it'd be fine.
And I think Netflix did that intentionally, where I think the goal was to put it on Netflix, but what they did is they're like, we're going to release this and put trailers in theaters, have it in theaters for 3 weeks as like a big advertisement for Netflix, and then just put it on Netflix immediately.
Yeah.
So basically, we'll get some cash to, in those first 3 weeks, we'll get a few $1,000,000 and just pocket that really fast. Then put it on Netflix and reinvest the cash that we made from the theater performance on advertising it on Netflix.
But the problem there is that no one actually went and saw it, so.
True, and it probably lost a shit ton of money because nobody has. I haven't heard from anybody aside from you and Red Letter Media who's even seen it.
Yeah.
Or talked about it or anything.
Yeah, apparently it was a huge financial flop, so.
Yeah, and what kind of sucks is I really like Natalie Portman. I think, like, she's just picked some weird roles lately, and I don't really know what to make of it. You know? But she is a big talent. She really is. And she speaks like fluent Russian, and like she's really smart too.
Yeah.
It just kind of sucks. I mean, like a scientist is a good role for her to play, and I thought her look in the trailer was good. Like she didn't look like distractingly sexy or beautiful, even though she's gorgeous. It's just like, you know what I mean? Where it's kind of a Ridley thing where they didn't doll her up to make her distracting from the plot.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the plot was or how thin it was, they could have easily just been like, look how attractive Natalie Portman is. She's dressed like Tomb Raider, like Lara Croft, and she's going through the shimmer. Like it's and it's the same thing that they do with like Michael Fassbender when he plays David in Prometheus or Alien Covenant, where he's considered a really handsome, talented actor, and he is, but they keep him covered up all the time. Like David's never shirtless. Even if he's in good shape, he's not, because they're like, he's a robot. There's no point, like don't take away from the story just to get 500 more people in the seat. There's 500 more housewives in the seat or husbands. Sorry, I'm having to adjust because I'm sitting on the damn floor and my leg keeps falling asleep.
What a loser.
Yep. But in other news, let me think. While I've been out here in California, I've been applying for jobs, obviously. And I actually found out that the place that I go and eat at all the time for breakfast, the place that I worked at briefly as a busser, Cantor's Deli, is hiring a delivery driver. And so I can do that and make tips doing it. And I'm like, I might do that just because I can already go there, get discounts on food, and I already drive there pretty much every day. Yeah. And it's a day shift, so I think it's something where you work it in the morning till like 5 or 6 in the evening, and then you're done. And hold on, buddy.
Yeah, well, it's worth a shot. Give it a try.
Yeah. 1 second, folks. My fucking thigh and leg are asleep. Fuck, and it's like in a bent position. Ow, god damn. Sorry. Ow, it's like when your calf muscle rolls. Fuck. Okay.
So,
all right.
Want to hear something that'll make you mad when you Google it later?
Depends, I guess, on what it is, but sure, go for it.
So the movie Ready Player One, their ad campaign was they're recreating a bunch of posters from classic movies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is they all look like like if I was like, David, I need you to Photoshop something, and you only have like 20 minutes. That's what you do.
Yeah.
And it's awful. It hurts my soul.
Earlier I was doing a live stream and I was talking about how I really like that main actor though, because you and I first saw him in the movie Mud. We went and saw the movie Mud with Matthew McConaughey, and he was like the kid in that. And I remember we were both like, wow, that kid's actually a surprisingly good kid actor, because you and I usually think kid actors suck and are annoying. And he was actually he was able to convey adult emotions and actually seem real, like a real character. it was kind of like that kid from Ender's Game.
Yeah.
He kind of looks like the kid from Ender's Game. If that kid had a lot more talent, like I think the kid from Ender's Game is like the discount version of the Ready Player One guy,
Yeah.
and it's I think that kid's going to be a good actor. I really do. I think he's going to be maybe in between a Jake Gyllenhaal and a Miles Teller. He's going to be somewhere in there where I think I see a lot of rom-coms in his future, just because he's kind of he's handsome, but he's kind of also like average, kind of dorky sort of dude.
I feel you.
Yeah, he could be like a John Cusack kind of guy. But yeah, what else has been going on out here? I've been working so hard on trying to get fucking furniture.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I get a couch. Finally.
Woo-hoo!
A sectional couch. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a nap on that. I also, in addition to that, I was talking before about applying to jobs. So I'm filling out an application for the deli. I already did an interview at a hotel, and I also went to an orientation for something called DoorDash. And DoorDash is very similar to Postmates or Uber Eats, just delivering food. And it seems like it could be good. Drama, stop it, buddy. Sorry. He's just like eating his bed, and I'm like, don't fucking do that. But the fact that we had to have orientation just pissed me off, because I wanted him to just go, any of you ever worked Postmates or Uber Eats? And if they go, yeah, he's like, it's exactly the same as that. Orientation over.
Yeah. I hate orientations because it's like they don't really do anything.
Yeah, and we sat there. And by the way, you know what the most common thing at these orientations was? Is women were coming in, and they were sitting down, and they were rushing in. Each one of these women did this. They came in like this, like, oh, fuck. Sorry, I'm so sorry I'm late. And they're all like ditzy kind of, sorry, I'm so fucking late. Gosh, it's 11:30, but I'm supposed to be at 11, and all the traffic and all this stuff. I mean, well, I've been there, for 40 minutes just waiting for fucking orientation to start. And each one of these women, they go, Stacy? And they're like, yeah. And they go, can you come here for a second? And they did it not so subtly. They go, I can't actually have you working for DoorDash. And then she's like, what? Why? And they're all like, what? And then he goes, because you had a DUI last year. And then they're like, you have to wait like 7 years. And they go, oh, well, fuck you then. And then they like left. And guess what? Happened 3 times.
Oh,
3 times in a 40-minute time span. I
Dude,
saw 3 women come in, huffing and puffing, when other women were there that were fine, that were just sitting there on time. But these DUI ladies just kept coming in going, you don't want to hire me? Well, just because there's this DUI and 3, innocent deaths on my resume. And
you got to imagine, for that guy that does that, he probably hears that every single day.
Oh no! Like he did it like a champ, because I'm like, the fact that he did it 3 times, the same dude with all different women and all different personalities. But what's weird is these women must hear it every day, because they came in, every single one of them signed in. They're doing the background check as you're signing in. They came and sat down, and then after 5 or 10 minutes of them sitting down, they go. And we talked to you, and they go, you have a DUI in 2012. It hasn't been 7 years. And they're like, oh, well, thanks anyway. Thank you. And then, no joke, once they left the door, you literally see them run. Like, they came in walking, but they run wherever the hell they were going. And I'm like, they literally must do this every single day and get rejected from car service after car service after car service. And they're probably just not hireable for a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
like,
No, that's
let
the most
alone
likely.
car things. Because, I mean, if you want to be an assistant, you need to be able to drive a car and deliver papers and stuff around, or a casting director, or any of these things. You need to be able to drive safely to these places. And if you have a DUI on your record, they're not going to hire you.
Yeah.
Like, and I kind of was an eye opener, because obviously I don't have a DUI, and neither do you, but I know people who've had DUIs, and I'm like, man, that really does fuck up your life for
Oh yeah.
a
No,
long time.
it's a big one. People, surprisingly few people take it seriously.
Well, and I honestly kind of feel like 7 years, and I think it's a little harsh,
It's
depending on,
insurance.
yeah,
It's
it's
insurance.
insurance,
It's like,
but
it's just whatever. Like, somewhere in the country, I bet you what it is that somewhere in the country, it's probably Los Angeles. There's probably like a rule, like they probably, when they were trying to set up, had to make concessions to be allowed by whatever city it was. And I
mhm.
bet you for somewhere like either LA or New York or somewhere, it was like, you have to, like, for this cab company has a 7-year rule. So you have to do as much as the cab company. You can't have lower standards than them.
True,
So then
yeah.
so then the company just says, all right, make it a policy everywhere.
Yeah, like a
Because
state
we
law
don't
or something like
yeah,
that.
because we don't want people who work for us to move across state lines and then get in trouble or something. So, because that's the thing. It's like, those rules are always like, they always have to do with somewhere like completely different half the time.
See, what I would try to do is, if I had one, if it was going to fuck up my life for years, I would move to a state where they had more lenient laws, where you could get it expunged sooner, stay
Yeah,
there, get it expunged, and then move back.
but that's just kind of the tricky thing. Is just
If
like,
that works. I don't know if that
if
works
it
or not.
if it works, that's the big if.
Yeah, it probably doesn't. I'm sure they have guidelines where they go, if you got it in California, you have to wait the California length of time for it to pass, or if you got it in Louisiana, you have to wait the length of time that Louisiana says.
Yeah, that's a likely
I think in
reality.
Oklahoma, DUI sticks on your record for like 3 or 4 years. I don't know about
I,
7.
I think it's 3 or 4. Yeah, like, provided you don't offend again in that period.
Yeah, but I think you have to go like that long without getting like a ticket, like,
Yeah,
of any kind, like a traffic violation or anything.
yeah.
Um,
Well, at my job, I put up a flagpole. That's the highlight of my week.
do you care to let my viewers know what you do?
I am a maintenance man at a hotel,
Do you
which
want to let
means
them know how you came across this job? How it came into your possession?
the the maintenance man gig, or working at the hotel in general.
The maintenance man gig, because you got the hotel job just from applying, really.
Well, I got the hotel job because Amish was in the living room and asked me if I wanted a job. Like, that was
Yeah,
that
that's
was
true.
that.
He was at the. I was there.
Yeah,
I
he
was
was just
pretty
like,
much
"Hey,
there when you got an interview booked for the next
yeah."
day, and then you
He was
got
like,
it the next
you got
day.
a job?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure."
And you
Now,
started like that Monday, like 2 days later. Like,
the maintenance gig mainly came from I was like being like a sec. So the maintenance guy at the time, he was a lazy son of a bitch, and so essentially Amish had me doing a lot of the extra work so that he could get done like the major things he needed to do. So I was
mhm.
like changing light bulbs and all that, and then eventually, because he was the kind of guy who would like disappear for hours or go take a nap in a room or something.
Yeah, we'll call him Cisco.
Yeah.
Uh,
So Cisco essentially, eventually the head housekeeper caught him napping on the floor. He was like, he woke up and he was like, "Oh, I was working on something."
I was working
And I
on
was
the
like, "Yeah,
floor.
yeah, I'm sure you were."
I was
And so
lifting up
that,
tiles.
and
There's
so
no
then
tiles
they,
in here. It's carpet.
yeah, so then they trounced him and they said, "Hey, Alec, we want you to just be maintenance full time." And I was like, "All right."
I love how just blasé that was, where it's like, hey, you fixed a few light bulbs and plugged in a few TVs, and this guy's a total fuck up. You want his job? And then, like, you're fired. You
Well, see,
don't fold towels
honestly,
anymore.
that's the best part though. Is like, my qualification, like the main qualification that makes me like better than a lot of maintenance guys is I'm not a giant fuck who takes naps in rooms. I just show up to work and do the basic job.
My
And it's
favorite
like,
part is when you end up doing something though that I remember you bitching about Cisco doing. You're
yeah.
just like, yeah, man, Cisco's over there just messing with fucking light bulbs, and then you call me up and I'm like, what you up to? You're like, oh, I'm changing out light bulbs.
Well, see, this was the problem though. When he would mess with light bulbs, it's like you'd tell him to go do light bulbs, and that would be like the day. Like he would take like, and I mean,
Yeah,
he
not
would
an hour or
disappear.
two.
Yeah, it's like it would take him like 5 hours. Like it's like 5 hours would go by, and then you'd see him sneaking out the back door to go home.
Yeah, and how long would you say you've had the maintenance aspect of the job? Because you've had the actual job at the hotel for like 2.5 years now, or something
I'd
like
say
that.
I'd say I've been doing maintenance now for like 3 months, give or take, three,
Yeah,
four.
maybe four, yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
And I
and in
mean,
that time, I've
you
learned
do
so
it.
much.
You have. I've seen you.
I've learned how to barely not die. Speaking of
Yeah.
which, I got to go to pool school on Monday, which is
Wait, the
where you get
Leslie
this.
one?
No. This is for the city of Norman. Like you have to go and take. It's like a food handler's card. You go and you sit through the class, and then you take the test.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like 4 hours long.
Oh, so literally pool school. So you're
Yeah,
learning about a pool, or you're taking a test that makes you qualified to fuck with a pool?
both. You go there and they run through all the information you have to know to be like have a pool be in compliance.
Uh-huh.
And then like you write all that down, and then they say, "All right, use your notes to pass the test." And then
Fair enough.
you walk out with the little certificate.
That's cool. We should get that framed. I'll frame it.
Well, no, it is framed. It's at work. They
Oh, is
frame
it?
it. It has to be framed and put at the business. So technically, I'll have two framed copies for each hotel,
And it'll
which is kind
say
of
certification for Alec Brown. Like it'll
yeah.
say you.
It'll say like Norman Health, City of Norman Health Department, Alec Brown, pool service, like pool service certification.
That's great. That's good to have on a resume.
Yeah,
Certified in pool service.
yeah. So that'll be the thing. It's like have to go sit through that on Monday.
Well, that'll be all right. I don't think
It
that
won't
would
be
take
too. It
very
won't be
long.
too bad. Well, it's 4 hours, so I mean, the positive is that's like it's kind of like an easy day because I'll come into work, do my thing, and then at noon go to the health department and
Hey,
take the
just
class all day, and then come back, clock out, go home.
yeah. I mean, just look at it. You get to sit down for 4 hours.
I mean, it'll be boring as hell, but
Yeah, but it's all right. I mean, that stuff usually flies by. I feel, especially when you
yeah,
know that it's coming to an end, and you're like, I only have to do this once. You
exactly.
know,
Well, that's the thing is like you really only have to do it once, and then I think you just renew it.
yeah. You
I don't even
just,
think. Yeah, I don't even think you have to take the class again. I'm pretty
I
sure
don't,
you
I
don't.
don't think so.
I think
The
you just once a year just go and renew it, and you pay like $5.
I remember when I first came out to California, and I told you about this before. I got cleat certified to be a security
Yeah,
guard. And so I had like a little certificate that I sent my parents, and it said like David Grayson, power to arrest. It's weird. It was a legit one. It was from the Simi Valley out here in California, and
yeah,
the only reason I didn't become a security guard and try to do that full time was because right around the time that I wanted to do it, Ferguson happened, and
and you're like,
so
no, thank you.
well, they were just like, I remember hearing news stories about them just like finding security guards just kicking the shit out of them. And I'm like, I really don't want that to happen to me.
Yeah,
And it was just anybody goes. It was anybody in a uniform pretty much was just up for
fair game.
grabs. Yeah, because it was like a week. I mean, who knew how long it was going to last? And by the time it came around, I already had a job somewhere else. I think I got a job as a caddy like
Yeah,
soon after. But I'd had it for a while, and I think after like 6 or 8 months, it expired. I had to get it re-upped, but I didn't do it.
Yeah.
And I didn't technically meet the hour requirement because you have to get, like, in the first month, you have to do, like, 16 hours, and I didn't do that many. So,
yeah. Which makes sense. They probably do that because it's like they don't want you running around with that certification. Like you worked a job for like 2 weeks to get the certification paid for, and then you're running around being like arresting people and with a gun like a jackass.
yeah, and you had to take specific classes, too, with them if you had a weapon. And I remember I had a whip-out baton, and I took the test for the whip-out baton.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have had a gun or a taser because I would have had to take way more tests. And I'm like, fuck that. I don't want to do that. Because I know that I was like, if I'm a security guard, I'll definitely shoot somebody by mistake that I'm not supposed to. It's like, a big guy was threatening me and I shot him in the leg. You used too much force. All you had to do was check his ID. Oh, sorry.
I shot him anyway.
I shot him anyway. And I'm not even like trigger happy, but I just know that would be, you know, as a smaller security guard, your body is not your intimidation. It's the weapon that you have. So, you know, those big security guards, they can just go like, I'll just crush your skull with my palm. Like, I'm Dave Bautista, and I'm you know, monitoring this juice bar. You know,
like all the ex-military guys that always do that.
Oh, yeah. That
like
or bodybuilders.
Like they come straight back from overseas, or they're bodybuilders that work out 14 hours a day, and it's like that's...
Or cops that did something bad while on duty, and so they just got a security guard job.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, at least I make tips because, you know, I shot a dude I wasn't supposed to shoot. So they took my gun away and my badge, but I got a security guard badge and I got a taser gun. And I'm like,
yeah.
Ooh, way to go, Paul Blart. Like, way to go.
Paul Blart,
Did you
Paul
get a
Blart
segue too? You get back
Well, speaking of segues, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, sir, because I am starving.
Yeah, I am too, and plus I need to go eat, and I need to feed the dog and go for a walk and all that stuff. Oh, I said walk, and he like looked at me like he was going to eat through his crate.
Yeah.
So
allegedly, Kyle made falafel, but I did hear him swearing back there, so I'm not sure. I'm not
wait,
sure
is Kyle there?
He was. I don't know if he's still there.
Can you see if he is? Just say Kyle real fast.
I'll have him yell hi to you if he's out there.
Yeah, that's all I mean. This is quality content, folks.
Quality content. Kyle, can you yell hi to David? You're not on camera.
Yo!
Hey, what's up, buddy? Did you get a new air fryer?
Oh. Hold on, I gotta pull the headphones out. There we go. Repeat.
Oh, did you? Hey, what's up, buddy?
Oh, hey, what's up, dude? Right here?
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm still in the process of...
falafel.
Did you get a new air fryer?
Yeah.
Did you guys get that fixed?
Yeah. They just replaced it at Kohl's.
Yeah.
Sweet. Is that what you're making falafel with?
No. I actually fried the falafel in oil this time. Although while I was doing it, I was thinking, I really should have done this in my air fryer. But yeah. It turned out good. It was good.
When he returned the air fryer, the lady groaned at him.
And that is true, yeah. That is a true story. The air fryer I got is obviously a different model of the same brand and company and stuff. So I think that clearly the model I had probably got returned a lot. So
they're like, God damn it, another one. We got
my theory. They're like, God damn it, another one in March.
Like that's the 58th time this has happened.
Like, well, it sounded like one year for Black Friday, every Black Friday TV came back because they were all defective, so every single one of them had to come back.
That sounds like such a thing that you would experience.
500 TVs and 500 TVs got returned.
Oh, that's fucking
Which was
brutal.
actually, it was great for the customers because they returned shitty RCA TVs, but then walked out with like nicer Vizio brand TVs. because we didn't have any RCAs anymore, and they said just give them whatever's on your shelf. One guy got a Sony TV.
That's good. Speaking of Vizio TVs, is my friend Joe, who was hanging out the other day when you called. The reason we were hanging out as long as we were is because his girlfriend got on the show Let's Make a Deal with Wayne Brady and won an 80-inch Vizio television. And I swear to God, it took up the wall. It's fucking huge. It didn't fit on their TV stand. It was wider than the TV stand. Like the legs went like a foot over it on each side. And even though it's basically this far off the ground, it still was like when you sat down, it was well above your head. So it felt like you were a kid, like back when you had like one of those big fat televisions, like what your parents have in your house.
Yeah.
Like if you were like 5 years old sitting in front of that, you're like, whoa. Whoa. But yeah, pretty crazy. So, well, anyways, we'll talk again soon, and I'll sign this off really fast for those who end up seeing this on the YouTube channel. I will thank everybody who saw this on Facebook. I know that we had several people, probably 20 people, show up throughout the stream, and thank you for watching. But for those who see it on YouTube, thank you for watching as well. If you like this video and you like Alec, please subscribe to my channel. Also check out his channel, which I also help out on, which is Browncast Ultra. Kyle and Alec recently just did a silent film called An American Myth that I was lucky enough to be a part of, and it just was official selection of Los Angeles Sin Fest and was named a semi-finalist, and it's still being sent out to film festivals right now. I just sent it off to a different one the other day I needed to tell you guys about, but I did it really late at night and I forgot. But yeah, so all good things, folks, and we will be doing this periodically. So,
all right, David, I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, love you guys. All right, well, thank you all for watching again. This has been Catching Up Week 1, and we intend on doing this more in the future, just for Alec and I, since we're best friends, to keep in touch, and also just for you guys to enjoy our conversations. If you do, if you don't, it's whatever. At least we'll have a record of it, and I can watch it when I miss the guys. So, anyways, thank you for watching. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Walking David, and have a great night, everybody. Take care.